Before we begin, I want to highlight something that perfectly captures the passion of the Grand Theft Auto community. When the wait for a new game is this long, the fanbase doesn't just sit idle. They create, they analyze, they discuss, and sometimes they build. To give you an idea of the level of dedication we're talking about, one fan recently showcased a project that is truly remarkable. This person spent around 200 hours inside Far Cry Arcade on PS5, meticulously recreating one of the rumored safe houses from the Grand Theft Auto 6 leaks. What many believe will be Jason's house. Think about that. 200 hours of work, based on just a few seconds of early footage, all to bring a small piece of this unreleased world to life for other fans to experience. It's that kind of creativity and passion that we're going to be exploring today. It shows that even before we have the game, the community is building its own worlds and sparking incredible conversations. So with that in mind, let's get into the main discussion. Let's talk about graphics. With 2025 shaping up to be a massive year for gaming, a huge discussion has formed around two titans set to define this generation: Grand Theft Auto 6 and Death Stranding 2. The question everyone is asking is which one will set the new benchmark for visual fidelity? There's a strong case to be made for Rockstar. Their incredible attention to detail is legendary. You only need to look at Red Dead Redemption 2, a game whose graphics and world detail still stun people today. The expectation from this side of the argument is that no one can really match Rockstar when it comes to building a complete, believable world. However, there's a compelling argument that Death Stranding 2 might come out on top in terms of pure, raw visual realism. From what has been shown, its world feels incredibly dynamic and breathtaking. The reasoning behind its potential graphical superiority comes down to a fundamental difference in game design. The argument is that Death Stranding can afford to have these super realistic visuals precisely because its world is intentionally more sparse, vast, and empty, with a focus on creating a feeling of loneliness. A Grand Theft Auto world, by contrast, has a whole lot more going on. It's a living city, bustling with cars, countless NPCs, and complex systems that all have to be rendered at once. It's a classic debate between two different philosophies of design. But of course, as is often the case, the most definitive take on the matter might just be the simplest one. The closest we'll get to GTA 6 level graphics is GTA 6 itself. Another element that points to a deeper level of immersion in Grand Theft Auto 6 is the sophistication of its physics engine, particularly when it comes to object deformation. This is one of those small details that speaks volumes about the game's overall design philosophy. We're seeing simple objects like plastic cups that don't just disappear or break into generic pieces, but realistically crush and warp under pressure. While a cup is a small thing, this technology points to a much more sophisticated damage model overall. Imagine this same principle applied to vehicles during a high-speed chase. We could see fenders crumple in unique ways based on the angle of impact, with hoods bending and buckling realistically, creating a more dynamic and unpredictable driving experience. This could also extend to the environment itself. Fences might splinter and break differently each time. Guardrails could bend and twist from collisions, and even the cover you hide behind during a shootout could visibly deform from gunfire. It's this level of physical detail that grounds the player in the world, making every action feel more consequential and believable. And it suggests a world that feels less like a static set and more like a truly interactive, destructible sandbox. Now let's get into what is arguably one of the most passionate and fundamental debates in the entire Grand Theft Auto community: the driving physics. This is a conversation that has split the fan base for over a decade, and it boils down to two completely different philosophies: the heavy, weighty, simulation-style physics of Grand Theft Auto 4 versus the streamlined, accessible, arcade-style handling of Grand Theft Auto 5. The big question is, which path will Grand Theft Auto 6 follow? There is a very strong argument for a return to the style of Grand Theft Auto 4. The feeling is that the driving in GTA 5 was mainstreamed to appeal to a wider market, making the cars feel somewhat cheap, more like those in other arcade-style open-world games like Just Cause or Saints Row. For a series with auto in its name, the hope is for a more decent and involved driving model. There was an initial disappointment for some with GTA 5's driving, a sense that the unique weight and personality of each car had been lost, with some feeling that a supercar and a junk car drove too similarly. However, there's a powerful counter-argument. The perspective here is that GTA 4's driving physics weren't necessarily deep or realistic, but were actually unrealistically restrictive. The memorable description is that every car, from a sports car to a sedan, felt like a shopping cart filled with lead being pushed through molasses. From a business standpoint, there's no denying that GTA 5's more approachable driving model appealed to a massive audience and was immensely successful, so it would make financial sense to continue down that more accessible route. This leaves us with the central dilemma that will define the moment-to-moment feel of the next game. Will it return to the challenging, weighty physics that a dedicated part of the fanbase loves? Or will it stick with the proven arcade-style model that brought in the largest audience in the series' history? It's a defining choice that everyone is waiting to see.
Finally, let's get into one of the most granular but passionate discussions happening: the potential for manual transmission cars. For a game series built on driving, the inclusion of a stick shift option is seen by many as a huge step forward for immersion and player skill. The general sentiment is that driving a manual car simply makes the experience more enjoyable and satisfying, giving each vehicle a unique personality. The discussion quickly dives into the real-world skills involved, highlighting the importance of learning to downshift properly to prolong the life of the car's clutch and gearbox. There's talk of the fun involved in mastering advanced techniques like the heel-toe downshift, which can make you feel like a race car driver, as well as the danger of a money shift, a catastrophic missed gear change. While it's acknowledged that there would be a learning curve, one described as a punch in the face at first, the idea is that the reward is a deeper connection to the vehicle, the possibility that every car could have its own unique quirks, with gas engines feeling different from diesel, for example, adds another layer of depth, making each one a new skill to master. It's a feature that would transform the act of driving from a simple action into a craft, and that brings our discussion to a close. From dedicated fans recreating game locations and other engines to deep debates on graphics, physics, and driving mechanics, the conversation around Grand Theft Auto 6 is incredibly rich and detailed. It shows a community hungry for a game that pushes the boundaries of immersion and realism in every aspect of its design. What are your thoughts on these topics? Let me know. A huge thanks for joining me here on Flash Tales. We'll be back with more as the journey to Grand Theft Auto 6 continues. Thanks for listening.